Every December, the world transforms. Cities light up, families gather, and entire economies revolve around twinkling lights, festive music, and a man who breaks into homes but is somehow beloved. But beneath the cheerful chaos lies something far stranger, a global archive of Christmas laws so absurd, so outdated, and so unintentionally comedic that it feels like humanity tried to regulate holiday spirit with a malfunctioning AI. Across centuries and continents, lawmakers have attempted to control everything from how people celebrate Christmas, to when they're allowed to celebrate it, to whether they're allowed to celebrate it at all. Some countries banned Christmas entirely. Others required government approval for decorations. Some punished anyone who baked the wrong holiday food. And a surprising number still enforce noise limits on Christmas music, as if Mariah Carey were a threat to national security. These laws were not written by calm, rational committees. No, they were born from moral panics, cultural confusion, religious rivalries, historical accidents, and at least a few situations where someone celebrated a little too enthusiastically and ruined it for everyone. Today we're opening the case file on the 50 dumbest Christmas laws that still exist around the world. Inside this folder, you'll find bizarre restrictions, ancient bans, bureaucratic disasters, and festive regulations that would make even Santa Claus question humanity's competence. So plug in your lights, adjust your tree, and make sure your celebration complies with at least 3 countries' legal systems, because the absurdity of Christmas is officially in session. 1. Norway limits how early you can decorate for Christmas. Several municipalities in Norway have regulations that discourage or restrict putting up outdoor Christmas decorations too early, mainly to preserve cultural tradition and avoid holiday pollution. Local councils occasionally fine businesses that break the unwritten but enforced timing rules. Residents joke that Christmas spirit must be approved by the calendar first. If your joy needs scheduling permission, the season has become a bureaucratic emotion. 2. The Philippines once regulated Christmas carolers at night. Certain regions of the Philippines enforced curfews for carolers to prevent late-night noise and crowding. While caroling is a beloved tradition, authorities viewed midnight song brigades as public disturbances with enthusiasm issues. Communities created quiet hours specifically for holiday music. If your singing requires government hours of operation, cheer is now municipal property. 3. Japan's KFC Christmas tradition has rules. Literally. Japan's famous Christmas KFC tradition includes strict reservation systems, limits on pre-orders, and guidelines for pickup times due to overwhelming demand. Some locations enforce security measures to prevent scalpers from reselling Christmas chicken meals. When fried chicken becomes a regulated holiday commodity, culture has outpaced imagination. 4. Germany's quiet laws restrict Christmas Eve noise. Germany enforces Ruhezeit, quiet hours, which apply even on Christmas Eve. Vacuuming, loud music, or certain festivities can violate local noise ordinances. The irony of celebrating joy silently is not lost on anyone. If your holiday happiness must be whisper level, tradition is winning. 5. Spain requires permits for large nativity scenes. In several Spanish cities, public nativity displays require municipal approval due to space, traffic, and safety regulations. Oversized scenes without permits can be dismantled by authorities. If baby Jesus needs city paperwork to appear, bureaucracy has entered the Bible. 6. Iceland encourages, and once regulated, Christmas book giving. Iceland's jólabókaflóð, the Christmas book flood, was historically influenced by rationing laws that governed paper imports. While modern laws no longer restrict it, the tradition remains deeply connected to old regulations. When your holiday requires literary compliance, even Santa reads the fine print. 7. Certain U.S. towns restrict inflatable decorations. Several American municipalities have rules limiting the size, brightness, or placement of Christmas inflatables due to safety and zoning concerns. Oversized Santas blocking sidewalks have been legally removed. If your Santa violates zoning laws, the North Pole needs an architect. 8. Singapore regulates holiday light displays for safety. Singapore's strict electrical and safety codes apply heavily during Christmas, requiring commercial displays to meet rigorous standards. Unauthorized lights can be fined or removed. If Christmas needs an engineering license, festivity has entered the lab. 9. Mexico has rules about selling nativity figures. In certain regions, artisans selling nativity figurines must adhere to traditional material rules, preserving cultural authenticity. Violating these standards can result in items being confiscated during holiday markets. If your figurines need historical approval, Christmas is curating a museum. 10. The UK once controlled the price of mince pies at Christmas. Historically, English regulations restricted the price and ingredients of mince pies during Christmas to protect consumers. These outdated rules occasionally resurface in legal discussions and trivia. If your dessert has government oversight, someone took holiday baking too seriously. 11. Scotland banned Christmas for nearly 400 years. From 1640 until the 1950s, Christmas was either banned or heavily discouraged in Scotland due to Puritan influence. Celebrating Christmas time could lead to fines or suspicion of papist behavior. Many Scots grew up treating December 25th like a normal workday. If your country cancels Christmas for 4 centuries, holiday spirit needs historical therapy. 12. England once outlawed Christmas festivities under Cromwell. During the 1640s, Puritan-controlled England banned feasting, decorations, church services, and anything resembling joy on Christmas. Soldiers patrolled the streets to seize roast meats and tear down greenery. When the government confiscates your holiday dinner, the war on Christmas wasn't a meme, it was policy. 13. Colonial Massachusetts fined anyone who celebrated Christmas. Early American Puritans viewed Christmas as a sinful, frivolous, and Catholic holiday. In 1659, Massachusetts imposed a fine on anyone caught celebrating it. Shops were required to stay open, and merrymakers were treated as offenders. If buying cookies becomes a crime, the holiday season has entered hard mode. 14. Some countries still restrict public Christmas displays for religious reasons. Nations like Brunei, Somalia, and parts of the Middle East enforce strict limits on Christmas decorations to avoid religious confusion. Unauthorized celebrations can result in fines or closures. If tinsel requires legal clearance, festive spirit is now a controlled substance. 15. Austria regulates Krampus for safety and morality. Austria allows Krampus parades, but imposes rules on costumes, masks, and conduct due to historical moral concerns and public safety. Krampus performers must sometimes register with authorities. If your holiday monster needs a government license, folklore has gone bureaucratic. 16. Some European churches still enforce midnight mass restrictions. Due to historical curfews, noise laws, and clergy regulations, some regions require special permits for midnight mass. Not all towns allow the traditional late-night service. When celebrating Jesus' birth depends on a noise permit, holiness meets paperwork. 17. The Victorian Church once policed Christmas decorations indoors. During the 1800s, some church jurisdictions in Britain enforced rules on indoor greenery, fearing superstition or excessive cheer. Households could be rebuked for elaborate decor. If your garland needs religious approval, joy is now ecclesiastical property. 18. Spain historically required priests to approve holiday plays. Christmas nativity plays once needed church approval to ensure doctrinal accuracy. Performances that added humor, folklore, or regional twists risked censorship. If your Christmas skit needs theological editing, art has entered divinity school. 19. Medieval European towns regulated when Christmas feasts could begin. Some medieval societies enforced rules on the exact timing of feasts, forbidding early celebrations to maintain religious discipline. Breaking the schedule could be punished as disorderly behavior. If your appetite violates canon law, dinner is officially sacred. 20. Several countries enforced old no dancing on Christmas restrictions. Historical regulations in parts of Europe banned dancing on Christmas Day, viewing it as immoral or disrespectful. Some of these bans linger in municipal codes, even if no one enforces them. If your footwork breaks the law, rhythm is now a religious offense. 21. Some U.S. cities require permits for large Christmas displays. Cities like Los Angeles, Chicago, and Boston require permits for elaborate outdoor decorations that affect sidewalks, lighting, or traffic. Homeowners with massive displays must file paperwork, pay fees, and sometimes pass inspections. Violators have had entire light shows shut down. If your Christmas spirit needs a building permit, joy has become a structural hazard. 22. Germany's strict electrical codes apply heavily to Christmas lights. Germany enforces rigorous safety standards on outdoor lights, requiring CE-certified wiring and heat-safe installations. Fines apply to non-compliant decorations, even small ones. If your Christmas lights need to pass engineering school, safety has won the holiday. 23. In Australia, some regions fine people for overly bright decorations. Australian councils sometimes receive complaints about intense Christmas lighting disturbing neighbors. Certain municipalities can impose fines or order dimming. If your house is visible from space, bureaucracy will eventually notice. 24. Singapore requires retail districts to submit decoration plans for approval. Major retailers and malls in Singapore's Orchard Road district must submit detailed decoration proposals, including structure, materials, wiring, and public safety considerations. Authorities evaluate every arch, lantern, and string light. If Santa needs architectural drawings, the holiday has gone corporate. 25. The UK has rules on Christmas market stall placement. Christmas markets in major cities follow strict zoning rules that determine stall size, food placement, electrical access, and crowd flow. Vendors can be relocated or removed entirely for violations. If mulled wine placement requires urban planning, festivity is now an engineering challenge. 26. Switzerland regulates tree disposal with serious efficiency. Several Swiss cantons enforce rules on when and how Christmas trees must be discarded, including designated pickup days and fire safety inspections. Leaving a tree curbside early can trigger fines. If your dead tree breaks the law, efficiency has become seasonal discipline. 27. Canada has rules limiting seasonal charity booths. Certain provinces regulate holiday donation booths to prevent sidewalk obstruction and ensure safety. Groups must apply for short-term permits, even for simple Christmas charity tables. When generosity needs government approval, kindness becomes administrative paperwork. 28. Italy enforces fire safety codes for nativity scenes. Large public nativity scenes often require fire-resistant materials and official inspections due to past incidents. Some towns impose rules on candles, lighting, and straw usage. If baby Jesus needs a fire safety certificate, tradition has met regulation. 29. France regulates public holiday displays to avoid visual pollution. Cities like Paris impose aesthetic guidelines to prevent excessive or disharmonious decorations. Authorities have removed displays deemed too flashy or commercially intrusive. If your tinsel offends the state, beauty has become a legal debate. 30. Certain U.S. homeowners associations ban inflatable Santas over size limits. HOAs across America often restrict inflatable decorations for reasons of uniformity, safety, or visual clutter. Residents have been ordered to deflate Santas that exceeded height rules. If your Santa violates HOA statutes, the North Pole has entered contract law. 31. Brunei bans public Christmas celebrations for non-Christians. Brunei restricts public Christmas expressions to prevent religious confusion, requiring permits for decorations, greetings, or events by non-Christians. Violators risk fines or penalties. Private celebrations are allowed only under specific conditions. If wishing someone Merry Christmas needs government approval, cheer is now classified information. 32. North Korea bans Christmas entirely and encourages an alternative holiday. North Korea prohibits Christmas celebrations and instead promotes a holiday honoring Kim Jong-il's mother on December 24th. Second, Christian gatherings have been reported but face severe punishment. If the government replaces Santa with propaganda, holiday magic has left the building. 33. Venezuela once restricted Christmas fireworks due to national blackouts. During electricity shortages, Venezuela imposed temporary bans and restrictions on Christmas fireworks to preserve power grid stability. Families were told to celebrate with minimal explosive enthusiasm. When your holiday spirit competes with national electricity, joy needs an energy budget. 34. Saudi Arabia prevented public Christmas displays until recent reforms. For decades, Saudi Arabia restricted sale or display of Christmas items in stores. Enforcement included confiscating decorations and stopping private parties in public venues. If tinsel is contraband, the season has become a covert operation. 35. Cuba once banned Christmas for 30 years to prioritize sugar production. From 1969 to 1997, Christmas was suspended as an official holiday to support agricultural output. Celebrations were discouraged because workers needed to stay productive. If Santa must wait for the sugar harvest, the economy outranks miracles. 36. U.S. colonial Puritans arrested people for Christmas feasting. In 17th century New England, authorities arrested anyone celebrating with feasts, decorations, or excess joy. Christmas was treated as a dangerous, wasteful event. If eating a cookie breaks the law, the holiday has entered dystopia. 37. Guatemala regulates the burning of the devil, a Christmas season tradition. Guatemala's December tradition of La Quema del Diablo involves burning effigies to cleanse evil. Due to safety concerns, the government regulates where and how people can burn their symbolic devils. If your holiday bonfire needs safety permits, tradition has become pyrotechnics with rules. 38. Austria's Krampus runs require background checks in some regions. Certain Austrian towns require registration and psychological screening for Krampus performers due to past violence and misconduct. Authorities want to ensure the Christmas demon behaves responsibly. When even monsters need background checks, folklore is officially unionized. 39. Japan once banned Christmas gatherings during wartime to suppress Western influence. During World War II, Japan discouraged and restricted Christmas celebration because it was seen as a Western cultural import. Public displays and gatherings were minimized or halted. If global conflict cancels Christmas, diplomacy has replaced decoration. 40. Some countries ban Christmas advertising before a certain date. Nations like France and the UK have local regulations limiting early holiday advertising to prevent commercial saturation. Stores can be fined for launching Christmas campaigns too soon. If the calendar arrests your marketing department, capitalism is celebrating too aggressively. 41. In Israel, Santa costumes require permits in certain areas. Because Santa attire can resemble religious or political symbolism in specific regions, authorities sometimes require permits to wear the costume publicly. Tourists are often surprised to learn their cheerful red suit is considered a regulated outfit. Officers have politely redirected aspiring Santas out of sensitive zones. If dressing as Santa requires government clearance, cosplay has geopolitical consequences. 42. In Thailand, public Christmas events once required monks' approval in some communities. Certain Buddhist communities historically required religious leaders to approve public holiday displays to prevent excessive Western influence. Decorations, music, and performances were reviewed for cultural sensitivity. In China, some cities restrict Christmas decorations to limit Western holidays. Local authorities in various Chinese cities have discouraged or restricted large Christmas displays, particularly in schools and government buildings. Some cities issue notices telling businesses to keep Christmas low-key. If your celebration must be subtle enough to avoid a memo, Christmas is now a stealth mission. 44. Denmark once regulated the height of Christmas trees for public squares. Municipalities set specific height limits for public Christmas trees to maintain uniformity and prevent visual imbalance. Citizens have protested over tree aesthetics. If your tree violates architectural harmony, the forest has broken a law. 45. In some UK towns, Christmas parades require anti-terror measures. Large holiday parades must submit security plans, vehicle barriers, and crowd flow diagrams due to modern safety standards. Even Santa's sleigh must meet compliance checks. When Santa needs counter-terrorism paperwork, the world has changed dramatically. 46. Dubai restricts public Christmas party advertisements. While Dubai allows private Christmas celebrations, advertising public events often requires approval to ensure cultural balance. Unauthorized promotions can be removed quickly. If your party poster violates cultural equilibrium, marketing is officially regulated joy. 47. In some Canadian provinces, cutting your own Christmas tree without a permit is illegal. Provincial forestry laws strictly regulate tree harvesting to protect wildlife and prevent overcutting. Families must obtain permits even for personal Christmas trees in designated forests. If choosing a tree feels like applying for citizenship, nature has entered bureaucracy. 48. In Italy, certain cities restrict live animals in nativity scenes. Due to welfare and noise concerns, many municipalities limit or ban the use of live donkeys, sheep, or oxen in public nativity displays. Permits and inspections are required. If baby Jesus needs compliance officers for his livestock, tradition has become agricultural policy. 49. Christmas light competitions have legal rules in some U.S. cities. Towns that host official light competitions enforce strict guidelines on wattage, brightness, noise, and traffic control. Families have been disqualified for exceeding lumens. If your home loses a contest because it's too bright, victory has a safety limit. 50. A few countries install Christmas police, seasonal enforcement teams. In places like Japan and parts of Europe, municipal officers temporarily increase patrols to enforce safety rules on crowd control, decorations, and public events. They are nicknamed Christmas police by locals. When your holiday needs its own law enforcement division, joy has officially become a job description. After exploring 50 of the dumbest, strangest, and most unexpectedly bureaucratic Christmas laws around the world, one thing becomes painfully clear. Humanity has absolutely no idea how to manage joy. Across countries, continents, and centuries, governments have tried to regulate everything from tinsel placement to Santa costumes, from nativity scenes to nighttime caroling, as if Christmas were a powerful natural force that needed constant supervision. We've seen nations ban Christmas outright, restrict decorations to certain dates, audit carolers, require permits for trees, enforce silence during celebrations, and even deploy temporary Christmas police to maintain holiday order. Some laws were born from safety concerns. Others emerged from religious tension, political paranoia, or simple municipal exhaustion. A few were created because one enthusiastic citizen went a little too far with lights, fireworks, livestock, or a Krampus costume, and lawmakers decided no one should ever repeat that mistake. But beneath the absurdity lies something oddly beautiful. Every rule is evidence of how deeply people care about this holiday. Some protect tradition, some protect culture, some protect public space, neighbors, sleep schedules, and electrical grids. And some, let's be honest, exist solely because humanity cannot resist turning celebration into chaos. Christmas is supposed to bring peace on earth, but the laws surrounding it reveal a more realistic truth. Peace is complicated, celebration is messy, and joy, when left unchecked, gets very, very loud. So as we close this case file, remember, Christmas may be about hope, wonder, and goodwill, but legally speaking, it's also about permits, curfews, height limits, and noise regulations. And now that we've journeyed through 50 of the strangest, strictest, and most unintentionally hilarious Christmas laws ever written, one conclusion becomes impossible to ignore. Humanity has spent centuries trying to regulate a holiday that was never designed to follow rules. Christmas, at its core, is supposed to be simple: lights, music, gathering, gratitude, warmth. But simplicity is the one thing humans have never mastered. Instead, nations have created a patchwork of laws that attempt to control noise levels, decoration heights, tree disposal schedules, Santa's wardrobe, public enthusiasm, private celebrations, and even the very existence of the holiday. Each regulation reflects a moment where joy collided with culture, or safety, or religion, or politics, or, in many cases, one overly determined neighbor with too many inflatable Santas. What these laws reveal is not the failure of Christmas, but the complexity of people. Behind every ban, restriction, or permit requirement lies a story: a city overwhelmed by crowds, a culture protecting its identity, a government struggling to maintain order, a community trying to balance tradition with modern life. And sometimes the story is even simpler. Someone celebrated too loudly, too brightly, too creatively, and the law stepped in with a clipboard. But perhaps the most interesting discovery is how resilient Christmas truly is. Despite centuries of bans, curfews, limitations, and bureaucratic interference, the holiday survives. Not because laws allow it, but because people insist on celebrating it anyway. They adapt, adjust, sneak, improvise, whisper, sing softly, decorate quietly, or celebrate privately. Joy finds loopholes. Wonder exploits technicalities. Festivity refuses to go extinct. Christmas, as these laws show, isn't just a day on the calendar. It's a global experiment in how far humans will go. It's proof that even in a world full of rules, citations, and seasonal enforcement units, the spirit of celebration is stubborn, determined, and surprisingly creative. So as we close this case file, remember, the world may try to regulate Christmas, but Christmas never really listens. This has been the Absurdist Files, where the laws are strange, the traditions are stranger, and humanity's holiday logic is the strangest of all.